Hi, I'm Danelle Dautrieve-Sanford. Like, subscribe, share. Go to the About section to learn about where I am on social media. I've done a story time before about salary negotiation, but I don't think I talked about the other aspect of that salary negotiation. I've been looking a lot recently at videos about 2-week notice, and I will go ahead and say right now, this is an entertainment channel, and I'm not an advisor or coach. Seek the right person to get your advice from. With that said, I've been watching these videos about 2-week notices. Should you give one or should you not give one? And I will say, so at this point in my life, every job I've ever worked, I have provided a 2-week notice. Now that I think of it, some of the jobs I provided more than a 2-week notice. All right, so generally when I've provided 2-week notices or more, it's worked out well. But I'm going to talk about the one time where it wasn't a pleasant experience. I had a job working in Atlanta, and I worked there for 15 years. But before I went to that job, I worked at this other job briefly. And when I say briefly, it was less than 1 year. That is my definition of brief. So when I went and I accepted this job, and this was the first job that I took when I moved to the current state I'm in, which is Georgia. So I accepted the job, and while I was there, I was trained to provide a lot of different services. Now, there are a lot of things I already had the ability to do based on my previous experience. With that said, I was sent to take a course at a university to provide a very specific service. So it seemed like the nurses that were there didn't necessarily want to do it. So what they would do was, the people that occupied my position, it was a position where people cycled through. And when I got there, some of the other nurses said, oh, the other person was here for this number of months, and the person before them was here for this number of months. So when they were saying it jokingly, you know, to be sarcastic, I believe, or to be like hazing. But I really took note of that, and I said, okay, I'm going to start putting in some applications at other places. Matter of fact, before I even took this job, I think I had already put in another application. And my thought was, if these people call me and they offer me more money, I'm out of here. I don't care how long I've been at this job. Yeah, so it was a no-brainer for me. So I came back and I put in notice after I signed my papers at this other place. Now that's the key, sign your papers. I signed the papers, agreed to accept the position, and I signed the papers with a start date. So I went ahead and I resigned from this job, all right? This job where I worked very briefly. So generally it works well when you do the 2 weeks. You don't want to burn any bridges. So things begin to happen to make it very stressful. First of all, one of the people came to me that interviewed me and said, if you leave, don't plan on coming back. And I'm thinking, well, okay, I don't really care. By the way, on my exit interview, the person that was her boss said, you're welcome to come back if you change your mind. So anyway, that's out of the way. So I'm in this, let me put it this way. I got hazed for like 2 weeks, and it got so bad. At that time, I had some family visiting, some relatives, and they're like, oh, they're trying to like get you to, they're just hazing you. So it was so stressful, and I had an older relative, and they're like, here's what you do. Just go to the doctor. And the doctor's like, oh my God. I was physically like ill. Like, it was like a cold on 10. So the doctor's like, how long do you want to be out? And so I consulted my elders, and they're like, if they're willing to give you an excuse, just tell them to excuse you out until your last day. So that's exactly what I did. The people at the job thought I wasn't coming back. So I sent them my excuse. At that time, you had to fax it in. It wasn't necessarily email. So then I came back on the last day, handed in my keys, did what I needed to do, and had my exit interview. And at that exit interview, the person said, you did a great job, and if you go over there and you change your mind, you are welcome to come back. Because I did mention to this person, I was told not that I couldn't come back, which wasn't true. So it was an upline person that said that to me. But her boss said, no, that ain't true. You can come back, Nurse Danielle. Some of the workers were like, oh, they were talking about like you probably wouldn't come back like that last one. So, and they're like, so I'm like, oh no, I always come and leave the right way. So anywho, some time went by, and there was this nurse that was both a nurse and a real estate agent. So when the real estate market was up, she would sell real estate. When the real estate market was down, she would find a nursing job. She did both things. All right, so she had taken the job about the same time I took the job, and we both got training. And at some point I resigned, and the next thing you know, now this is after the fact. This is after me talking to her and this other nurse, because the nursing streets talk. So this is a summary, my interpretation of what happened based on what I was told by both the nurse, the nurse / real estate agent, and some other nurses that, they found it amusing. Brief water break. This nurse comes in there one day when she realizes they're going to place all the work I was doing on her. She came in with an empty box, came into her space. We were in these almost like these small rooms that served as both exam rooms, and we would use part of the this little small desk and a stool we would have to kind of act as our desk. I would have my nameplate, and they cracked up at me. They called me like Dr. Welby and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm like, okay, I said I call it into existence. I didn't say to them, I'm gonna have an office where I can put my nameplate out, and so until then, the nameplate's gonna be here. I had it fixed up like it was a whole office. Anywho, so this nurse came in, and she came with a box and started packing her things. She didn't say anything, and then she says, I'm out of here. And they're like, you got to give a 2-week notice. And so her response was similar to, after seeing what you did to Danielle, I wasn't planning on staying here for 2 weeks to get any kind of abuse. So she was out of there because the real estate market was really up. And there was a lot of people in the area. There was a lot of housing that was for sale, and there were communities that were in the process of gentrifying, and she wanted to get in on that housing and real estate boom. What happened to me was enough for this nurse to pack up and just leave and be out of there. And she walked out of there. She didn't stay. She came in specifically to get her few things, and she's like, anything else here, I don't care. I think being in places like that helped me to not, I don't fix up where my office anymore. I don't put up any personal pictures. That really helped me to just separate my workspace in that aspect. And yeah, I could talk about that a little bit more, about seeing other people take the figurative walk of shame, where they don't even let you go to your space to get your family pictures. So yeah, I don't know who that's for. Keep your family pictures at your home and in your heart. So anyway, that's going to be it.